Hello and welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. Let us know you can see us and hear us, and we'll get started with the show. Let us know in the chat, everybody.
Everybody's getting hit with storms.
I know.
Tonight,
there's always a crazy storm going. 5x5. Thank you very much, Miranda.
Right
crew on task, on point, all the time. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. This is a very special edition. We are here on a Tuesday. Normally we're here on Mondays. We do the show normally on Mondays. But Joe and I were a little held up yesterday. We were on an expedition and it ran a little late, so we could not do the show on Monday. But I think doing a little Tuesday foray is a lot of fun too.
Mix it up.
Mix it up a little bit. We're excited to come to you guys, and we might talk a little bit about what we kind of got up to over the past few days and share some of that with you guys. But for now, we are just happy to be here, happy to be in one piece, happy to not be snake bitten. I think that's the primary objective here. And we want to welcome you to the show. Today, we do not have a serious guiding route that we're going to be going on.
We got nothing.
No.
We got nothing.
We're doing a Bigfoot Free For All. So that is pretty much an open forum discussion on the subject of Bigfoot. If you've got your Hellbent Holler bingo card ready that you have made, we're going to probably hit on all of the little factors there, all the little squares there. And I want everybody to prepare themselves for the inevitable infrasound rant by our good and loving co-host here.
It's brewing.
It's a brewing. My name is Jesse, by the way. I didn't even get into that. I'm terrible at starting this show. My name is Jesse. This is Joe. We are Hellbent Holler, and that's it. Good show. Good
It's
talking.
like how the orange lights give my very pale skin such an unhealthy pallor. Anyway,
that's how we look like we're
Curtis Whitaker.
glowing. Curtis, don't hurt us right out the gate. Thank you, Curtis.
Curtis, don't hurt us.
I need to make.
Thank you for that, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
My computer is like freezing up, but it looks like the stream is coming through.
Is the stream okay? Joe's monitor is not functioning properly. That's what we get. You know what I was wearing earlier today, don't you?
What's that?
I don't want to say the words.
The
Kate?
The cave shirt?
The cave shirt, yeah.
The BW cave shirt?
Yes. So. And I need to stop wearing this shirt because every time one of us wears our shirt from there, something happens.
It does, yeah.
Something goes awry. So I need to kind of hold off on that. All right. We got everybody in the chat today. So.
Curtis, thank you for that so much. And then also, Mother Effin' Chew back into the memberships. I believe Mother Effin' Chew was a member once before.
Welcome in, sir. Welcome in. Welcome in.
And then Miranda.
Thank you.
20 to make you holler.
$20 make you holler.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh,
and then LW had picked out, I got the retro hat on. I don't know where my regular hat is. So this was the original. Let me see if I can get
the first logo
geared into that was the original logo Jesse came up with.
I made that logo on Microsoft Paint, right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
How far we've come. How far we've come. I made that logo on Microsoft Paint probably 8 years ago. Yep. the old times, back in the olden days. All right, we're gonna go through the chat. Like I said, Joe and I got back late last night. We've been on expedition in the Uaris. We actually shared some of that, some of our photos from that with the members, and I shared some stuff publicly. We were hanging out with MK Ultra all weekend,
also known as Danny.
Danny.
Okay, Danny. Anyway, but so yeah, we were in the URs this past weekend doing some stuff, checking some stuff out, and it's already getting hot as hell, and snakes are starting to come out in full force. And when Jesse made that comment earlier about we made it back without getting bitten by a snake, we were going into an area where a witness had caught some really interesting audio. We were going in there at night. We were purposely going in at night
because the temperature had dropped, and ever since the rattlesnake incident last year, I'm a little gun shy about the Uaris and warm weather because it is, no pun intended, crawling with rattlesnakes and copperheads. The population of venomous snakes there is insane, absolutely insane. And I just know with our luck, when we keep going up there and we keep going out there, we're going to have a run-in that is not going to be great at some point in time.
Well, we were going in on foot. We had gone into this area where this witness caught some really interesting audio, and they've given us permission to share that in the future, and you'll be hearing that in the future. We had come in on one approach with MK Ultra, and we were going to go in on another way on an old forest road at night because we purposely wanted to go in at night and come in from this other approach sight unseen. And we waited for the sun to go down. It was a little cooler and whatnot. We're walking along, and copperheads, especially large concentrations of copperheads, have a very distinctive smell. It smells like cucumbers,
but not like a fresh cut cucumber, more like Bath and Body Works circa 2002 cucumber melon body lotion. All you girls in the chat that are over the age of 30, you know exactly what that smells like. If you're ever out in the woods and you smell that, don't get too nostalgic because that means there's a copperhead nearby.
Yeah. So we had to kind of reverse backwards, kind of follow, reverse our steps back out at this point and call it a night for that particular area. So up in the Uaris, more interesting like audio, like vocalizations up through there.
Yeah.
That is a area that is constantly surprising me because I keep looking at it going, I just don't see where this place would be just blanketed with Bigfoots, but it appears to be. We were getting those classic Bigfoot whoop, those whoops. And what's crazy is the particular area we were in, particular piece of national forest, well, there's a home about a mile away that had a dog barking. It was just, this dog was just kind of not going crazy, but barking occasionally. And I think whatever we were hearing was kind of riling the dog up. But it was interesting because you could hear these vocalizations immediately followed by like a canine and just go, all right, they sound nothing alike, which was able to allow us to kind of rule out that it was a dog in the woods. Definitely wasn't a coyote.
It was definitely, normally you'd be like, oh my God, this is getting covered up by this. This is happening at the same time. It actually allowed us to compare the tonality between what we were hearing, what we were catching, and this dog. This was a distinct dog over this way. So it was kind of nice to have right there in the same environment, side by side, these two vocalizations, and this is a dog, and this is definitely not. So that was actually pretty handy to have.
Yeah, Joe hears the whoops, Jesse finds the poops. So we but I actually even did a few responses to it. I whooped back a couple times, which I don't usually like to do, but this was so consistent. And at one point, it seemed it was close. I estimated about 50 yards away from us. And I'm going, man, it's just right over there. And I whooped a couple of times. I whooped a few times. Take that back, more than a couple. First couple times it answered with just I would go whoop and it would answer back, do a whoop itself. I kept doing it. And then the last two times it really happened, I would get like these 3 chattering sounds followed by a whoop, and then 3 chattering sounds. And I was like, I think I'm ticking it off. I think I'm agitating this. I think I think it's getting upset that I'm doing this. Not upset, but irritated that I'm doing this. And it was just interesting. It was very interesting to me how the exchange kind of like developed over time. So that was pretty cool. So we've got to see what we still haven't reviewed the audio yet. Like I said, we got in late last night and I had to book it into the day job this morning, but we've got some audio to review. We had a long duration audio recorder out for a few days. We got to see what we picked up on that. We have cobbled together a new
audio collection device.
Audio collection device. A lot of times you can't use a parabolic on the move, especially like through like thicker brush or anything. It's a pain. You have to have a parabolic. Generally, you have to have a pretty good microphone, which means you need like phantom power running off your recorder, which means you need that hooked up to a backup power supply. But I kind of cobbled something together that's pretty cool that you can use on just a carbon fiber monopod. You can use that as a walking stick, crank it down really small. It's got a real high sensitivity microphone on the top of it.
Mother effing shoe says you need walking sticks for the copperhead poke ahead of you, especially in the leaf litter. This is why I brought this up while he's talking about this new audio collection device, because this is going to be the ultimate tool for the URIs, because it is a carbon fiber stick and I can poke with it.
Yep.
And I can use it to collect audio.
And it's agile enough that we can use it in tighter kind of quarters. I've got another thing that I'm going to do that I haven't even told you yet to kind of let it run longer for power. So just one of those cool things that we're trying to innovate to try to make data collection and evidence collection a bit easier out in the field. That's one of the things I think we're pretty good at, as far as constantly trying to evolve and do things a little differently. Whatever works better, we keep. What doesn't work better, we pitch and try something else at that point. But anyway, let's see what else we've got here real quick. I did want to, this is a amusing little, no, already got that. Amusing little side note. Not today. I'm hoping for an entire dissertation of naked cat mask hater dude. So we had if you follow me on Facebook, you know exactly what he's talking about. We have a YouTube channel based upon Bigfoot, cryptids, and paranormal. We get our fair share of strange people, believe that or not.
No.
And we get some kind of weird comments.
We get a few nutters in the comments.
Now we're different. We're not trying to be like the cryptid Mr. Beast. So
we're not trying to capture the Bigfoot and hold him hostage.
But we're not
give him $1 million if he makes it out of our trap.
We're not just going, I'm going to leave all these like stupid comments and hateful comments up because it's engagement. I really don't care. We just block them. I want to enjoy what I do here, and I want you guys to enjoy what we do.
Block early, block often.
Block early, block often. So some guy was on there. He's asking some weird questions, but I just figured weirdo, because we try to answer what we can. It's harder to do nowadays, but we try to answer questions and comments as we can on there. And lately it's been kind of difficult, but I was trying to catch up on a few and saw him, and he had some weird comments. And then he made some comment going, I have heard that you were, and I can't remember the exact one, but it was lunacy. Basically, that it was directed to, I guess it was directed to both of us, but because I was reading it, I took it to be directed to me. I just kind of realized that when he was saying I guess he's talking about both of us, had been like arrested by park rangers for taking Bigfoot props.
Well, the reality of the situation is I actually turned you in. So I was not being arrested. I actually dropped a dime on you for your
cryptid narking.
Your Bigfoot chicanery.
Cryptid narking. But that we had been arrested by park rangers for taking Bigfoot props into national forests to fake footage for our channel. And first off, I'm going, before we get any deeper into it, would that even be illegal? Would, if a park ranger saw you with like a Bigfoot prop, which I'm assuming is like a life-size Bigfoot thing? Is that against the law?
You are being accused of gross Bigfoot crimes.
I've got a good Bigfoot fraud lawyer now, mind you. he's going to get me off on a technicality. But, and then the other thing is I'm going, but we don't have any like footage of like Bigfoot on our channels. We've gotten thermal images, audio, stuff like that, but we don't have like Todd Standing level, just right in its face, long video or anything like that. So, and then I was going, what the hell? And so I was going, all right, this dude's a crazy person, or he's got an agenda. But then I go to he has a YouTube channel of his own.
And then you're like, oh, let me take an hour and look into this.
Let me just look into this guy, see what's going on here. And the first thing I see is he's like a naked, one of the clips, he's like a naked 65-year-old man in like some sort of sequined cat mask. And I'm going, the people that I'm forced to like interact with and endure by having a presence on a social media platform is just
I looked at that photo, and you know what I was mostly hurt by is that this man would attack one of his own. The gray-haired, gray-beard contingent has attacked
the gray-haired, gray-bearded
has attacked one of their own, you know, and accused them of gross, negligent Bigfoot crimes.
But that's crazy. Arrested by, but that's what I was also going with. Let's say that somebody went, oh, I'm going to go hoax the best Bigfoot video that anybody's ever seen before. Would that be like against the law? We've got a friend who, Trey, what does he call it? Ethical hoaxing?
Ethical hoaxing. Yeah.
He's got a friend of ours has dumped a lot of money into a very, very realistic Bigfoot costume. And his friend is like an ex-professional wrestler. And he's like, what, 6'8" or something like that?
He's huge.
6'9"?
Yeah.
And this guy wears it. But the whole idea is they will go places and put him in this costume and see if anybody even realizes he's there. And the whole goal of this experiment is to show you how it's kind of easy for something like that to stay hidden, because a lot of people never realize that this dude is there, this 6'8" dude. And I'm sure there's some sort of lift to the costume, but I think it doesn't have a mask though. From what I saw, I think it's just the body.
What?
I don't know. I just that's what I think it is for some reason.
Yeah. Then wait, you can't do any ethical hoaxing if it's just the body.
But I think it's so people see it at like a distance and go, "Oh my God, there's this giant hairy figure there."
Would that be the head's the most important part? Otherwise, it's just.
But my thing is this:
a man in a carpet.
Would park rangers even give a crap? Generally, it's like they're worried about you, like, and I'm assuming when you say
if they want to spill the baby beans.
Yeah, park rangers. I mean, we got a park ranger in the damn chat. I mean, but I was just going, damn, what a strange thing to accuse us of, being arrested. I mean, there'd be a record of that. We'd have Bigfoot footage on our channel. You know what I'm saying?
We need to drive around with like a cardboard box with Bigfoot props just like scrawled on the side, and some of the letters are backwards on it. It's like that's our Bigfoot.
But yeah, I looked at it and I immediately got on social media and I was just like, I have been accused of being arrested for faking our high definition Bigfoot video, which we do not have, with Bigfoot props, and I've been accused by a 65-year-old naked man in a cat mask.
I think it's an airtight case.
I'm done. That got me this time. Going up the river. So.
You think you've evaded the authorities for far too long, Mr. Doyle.
Somebody just went not illegal when I worked for the United States Forestry Service, and I don't know why I got so hung up on that. I was just going, man. I mean, would that even be illegal? I mean, if somebody did that. Would that be, what would they charge you with? This man was lying on the internet, Your Honor. That's not allowed. Let's put him up the damn river.
Nobody ever does that. Oh, God.
Oh, Lordy. Our boy Pyro standing is crazier than we will ever know. The crazy meter pegs on that one.
Man, this field is so just full of interesting characters.
That's a good euphemism. Interesting characters. Why, sir? You're an interesting character.
I mean, but ourselves included. We're not exactly, we're not exactly poster children for sanity,
for normal stuff,
and normalcy. But I think this field really does attract some strange individuals, doesn't it? But what's interesting?
What's the charge, Bigfoot tomfoolery?
What's crazy is, Todd Standing is a phenomenal woodsman. Like, he is a phenomenal woodsman. He knows what he's doing out there.
Yeah.
I think he actually had a real encounter. And then the waters kind of got muddied with a lot of what went on and everything. And there's so much strange back and forth with a lot of different people. But he's not alone in this. There's a lot of people that are involved in the Bigfoot world that are just part of these convoluted, crazy tales, you know, but that's part of it. That's like, it's almost like the trickster element lives within each Bigfoot researcher as well.
And I'm looking here, got some other stuff. Eric says, in some states, any video or photos that can make money require a commercial license. Actually, on federal land, not anymore. There was an Explore Act, which makes small people like us, like if you're a big movie, it depends on how much disruption you're causing or a possible impact to the land.
So, like if you go into, if you go into a national park and you're blocking roads or you're filming,
you got to have stuff. But nowadays,
there were standards when that was in place where you had to have a permit to film on federal lands. There were standards in place that were, if you have a certain number of people in your crew, a certain number of cameras, a certain level of equipment, then you had to have a permit. But even when that was in place, I think, because I called and checked with the National Forest Service when we were going into the LBL, I believe it was, because we were concerned about that. I spoke to them and we were under the limit because we're 2 people with cameras.
They did not care. 2 people, cameras, a tripod. They're very fixated on one tripod. Everybody knows about the Anti-Bigfoot Prop Act of 1947. Jason Finch wants to become a member. Can you share the member login for those of you wanting to support this tomfoolery? Much like Miranda Crew. 18 months, Miranda Crew. Miranda Crew's one of the OGs. And then Lady Wolf has actually already beat us to it. Lady Wolf, I got to I got to get in touch with Lady Wolf. Did Lady Wolf get her stuff?
Lady Wolf contacted me today. The shirt came in, correct, Lady Wolf? And I think we were waiting on the great mug.
We had made, when I say we, Jesse had made.
I love that you do this we thing.
Jesse made Lady Wolf a coffee cup because Lady Wolf is coffee obsessed. That says best damn mod in the business on it. It was pretty badass.
I was going to pull it up actually, but it's over here somewhere. But she will share a photo of it whenever she gets it. But we're going to keep her fueled up with coffee and because it's a tough job. It's a tough job to mod for this channel.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, and Nuts Leopard Gun, give us your best whoop. We don't do calls like that. We don't call blast. We don't knock on trees.
What happens? But you know what?
Jesse, every time Jesse tries to do a tree knock, because we don't take wood to the woods. I always I see people going in with like their little bats and stuff that they're going to do tree knocks with. And I'm going, well, you brought like a bat in. What's Bigfoot using? Because every time we just pick up sticks off the ground like that, half the time they're like wet and they're rotted and they just like, so Jesse, one time we found a really nice hollow tree and she picks up this branch.
I was like, oh, this is perfect.
I'm going to actually do a tree knock. I'm going to do a tree knock. She picks up this branch and I'm filming her. She gives it a great swing, and then it's just like, it's wet, it's soggy.
And the branch that I picked up just disintegrated. Just turned into air and broken dreams.
So my whoops were the vocal equivalent of that pathetic tree knock that night. I'm out there. No 2 whoops I did sounded the same. Some of them I would do, and I would just go, okay, we've got to cut that from the video if we release that because that whoop sounded terrible.
That Bigfoot is in the bushes going, this Bigfoot.
Maybe that's what agitated it because it was back and forth a few times. And then I would do it and it would go like 3 chattering sounds they didn't sound like anything was going to rush in and like tear us to bits. I just got an MK's in the chat. He can do it, but it was just 3 chatters, loud chatters, not like a squirrel chattering, 3 loud chatters and then a whoop. And I'm going, I think I'm irritating it like I do most people, especially in the woods at 2 a.m. in the morning. But it sounded like I was just like getting on its nerves. Like it was going, all right, fine. Here's another whoop. Shut up. I'm trying to do something here.
He probably thought you got into like the fermented berries or something.
To the fermented berries. So, Joshua, welcome to the channel membership. We got some cool stuff coming out. Jesse's actually working on the next Blackthorn video right now.
Yep. So in that, speaking of whoops and strange vocalizations, this video picks up where the last one left off. We explore around that plantation site that was in the last video. We find some more crazy stuff in the woods, including what I call the gathering place. It's a circle of stones that appear that they were brought there and that things gather there. It's very odd, very, very odd. And then we catch some very, very strange vocalizations and head towards them. I actually previewed those vocalizations at the end of the last video. So there's more of those in this video that will be coming out hopefully by the end of this week. We were a little late getting back last night. So but I'm hammering at that. So hopefully that will be coming out at the end of this week and you guys can get kind of a more context for those vocalizations that we had at the end of the last video, because they are strange.
You have an admirer. You're the coolest, sexiest woman on the planet. I would give anything to have a queen like you.
Wow.
Wow.
Our anniversary is tomorrow.
Our anniversary is tomorrow.
We'll see how it goes because
you might have a chance. So, we'll see. Some people in here talking about our buddy 40 in Tennessee, that wood knocks are in fact tongue popping or something similar. I think it is. I hear everything from maybe things that I don't think are possible. Well, I can't say it's not possible, but air displacement from teleportation or apportation, like literally something is appearing or disappearing and the air rushing back in or expanding back out. I'm with you. I think if anything happens, it's some of them we've heard sound like rock on rock. They're rock clocks, and that makes sense. But a lot of the wood knocks don't sound like wood knocks. They sound like some sort of like tongue popping or just another type of vocalization. Although we did hear a hollow kind of drumming sound one night in Blackthorn. Is that in the next video? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we find a hollow tree that
I had a preview of that at the end of the video.
And when you hit it, you could actually bang on it with your hands. You didn't need a stick. And it made this very hollow drumming sound. It was cool as hell. And I'm going, that's what it sounded like. And you'll see, again, don't think Bigfoots are apes, but chimpanzees do like a root drumming type of thing where they will run up. They get excited. They'll run up on the base of a tree and kind of slap on the roots and make like a drumming sound and then go off and then go back in. And it's very hollow sounding. It doesn't sound like a gorilla chest beating. It's just and I could probably find a video on it, but I don't want to share somebody's video here. But just look for it. Just look for chimpanzees banging on tree roots or banging on the tree bases of trees, and it makes a really interesting sound. Well, this one more so, because again, the acoustics of this hollow tree, you can't really call it a stump because it had some height to it, but the remnants of a tree.
It was about here on me.
Yeah.
But it was perfectly hollow and it was kind of narrow. But it was an aged tree. But I could bang on the sides and make some noise with it too. It was basically like a drum. I do have that at the end of the last video that I put out. If you guys have not seen that video yet, that sets you up for this video that will be coming out. But I do have a preview of that particular stump that Joe's talking about in that. But we'll explore that some more in this video that's coming up. But it's pretty interesting to think of that. We ought to, next time we are in that particular location in Blackthorn Lake, try to find a good stick and maybe try some wood knocks on that thing just to see what it sounds like. I did a little hand action on that sucker.
This is a good one that we're kind of switching gears here, but we don't really have a topic tonight other than we were going to talk about the Uwaris a little bit. And then just go wherever the hell you
get into some Bigfoot and stuff.
Bigfoot and stuff. Colonel Chappie.
Bigfoot and fancy.
Indiana Bigfoot researcher, partially retired. Welcome to the channel, sir. Well, I'm assuming you're a sir. Had multiple encounters. What do you think about coyote connections to Bigfoot? Bindernagel went alive. When we shared that connection of both species. I guess you're talking about like mankind and canines and Sasquatch and canines. We have heard those same stories. We've heard those same stories about Dogman running and being accompanied by coyotes. When we were in the Laurel Creek area, which was an area where we got a really weird witness like story from that we're still not quite sure what we think about it. When we were there, we were setting up, and we got a lot of this actually on a live stream that was like just being broadcast out live while it happened. Where we were standing, we were hearing in front of us something just screaming in this loud bellow. It was one something. It was just one of them. And it was extremely, extremely loud. It had like a lot of power behind it. Big set of lungs on it. And then we would hear in the distance, the coyotes kind of answer back. And the opinion that I had at the time when it was going on is that this thing was roaring out into the night, letting the world know it's there, kind of a challenging kind of call. And from a very safe distance, the coyotes were kind of answering back. Like, kind of like hey, screw you, we're here too, much like, and the analogy that I used is that when, like, say you're walking a very large dog down the road on a leash, and a small dog, it's maybe fenced in a yard, will run up and start acting like an aggressive a-hole because it knows it's safe behind the fence. And so that safety gives it the courage to kind of like act out against something much larger than it is. And that was the impression that I was getting with the coyotes that night, is that they are from a safe distance answering this thing's challenges. But then a short time later in that same area, we were moving through a thicket of like young pines. It's very dense. It was very thick in there. And we started hearing calls from about our 10 o'clock. Well, then we started hearing coyotes from probably our 3 o'clock and about 5 o'clock position. And I'm going, all right, it's doing it again. They're answering this thing back. It's kind of like a call and like a challenging type thing going back and forth. And then we realized that the coyotes, whatever was making these calls was coming closer, and the coyotes were coming closer too, and they were spreading out. And we just both had this epiphany where I went, are they like communicating right now? Like, is this some sort of like cooperative type action going on right now? Like before I thought it was just two predators in the woods kind of like, yelling at each other that, hey, this patch of woods is mine. And then when that happened, I'm like, it almost seems like these things are being directed in. And again, I can't prove that. I just, based upon the situation, it seemed like this thing was yelling and the coyotes were responding to it, and we were getting flanked in there. It was the weirdest thing ever. Completely changed my opinion on that area and what was going on up there. So very long-winded answer of saying I used to not really put a lot of account into those stories until I had firsthand experience with it. And now I don't know. I'm not saying that it's definite, but I'm saying that's what it seemed like that night. It seemed like whatever was making these very loud, powerful vocalizations in an area where people had claimed to see a Bigfoot, whatever was making those vocalizations seemed like it was somehow communicating with and possibly even directing the two different packs of coyotes that were. I don't know. But great little comment.
I got some stuff marked on there, but I do want to throw this up here that Keith Miller said a little bit earlier that he heard a story about a Bigfoot looking through a window of a cabin and watched whatever TV show they were watching, and then follows up with this, that they were watching Two Mules for Sister Sarah with Clint Eastwood and Sean McClane. I would also look through the window to watch that film. That is a great film.
And if Big Jake with John Wayne was on, I would probably open the door and go in and make room for myself on the couch. Yeah. And sit down and watch at that point.
Scooch over, please.
Yes. Scooch. Is that the Bigfoot asking to watch?
Big John Wayne fan.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. Is it illegal to irritate Bigfoot by whooping? What would Naked Cat Mask Man have to say about that? If you follow me on Facebook, go over to my page because I don't post a lot on there. And
Naked Cat Mask Man is like our
Naked Cat.
He's like our morality gauge at this point.
He is our morality. At least I'm not naked wearing a cat mask, accusing people of crimes that they did not commit, Bigfoot crimes that they did not commit. So, thank you, Okie. We appreciate it, man. We're coming up on 12 years together.
You were struggling through that.
Well, I was going to say 12 years married, and then I'm going, no, we're only married for a couple of years, but made an honest woman of you. And then MK.
That's some hard words from a Bigfoot hoaxer.
That is. It'll even be better now. Yeah, we can. Now, actually, you know what? Here's the deal: if I was arrested, and then I did my time, would my Bigfoot hoaxing crimes against society be forgiven at that point? You know,
You always
can't call me a hoaxer anymore if I did time.
You paid your debt to society.
Exactly, I paid my Bigfoot hoaxing debt to society.
Yeah,
I did some really hard. I thought
you're a changed man,
and I got a Bigfoot hoax lawyer.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get me off in a technicality. Didn't work, man. So, oh well. Oh, anyway, I'm sorry. MK had said for the oddest occurrence from those Uwari vocals was how it got so close. Never once heard any movement or rustling, and we couldn't see anything on thermal either. But there's a lot of cover there for something to hide behind. That
we were running 2 thermals. We were running my thermal and your thermal. We don't bring your thermal out a lot, but we actually brought yours out. We were running both, and we're kind of scanning around the entire area. We didn't see anything. I saw a bird in a bush, but the leaves and the undergrowth is so thick at this point. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. It's so different from last time we were up there, and we were up there a few weeks ago, and it has just exploded. The vegetation has exploded. So that makes it very difficult to use a thermal in the summer. And also the ambient temperature gets so high in the summer. You have the blockage, you have the ambient temperature so high that the thermals become almost useless when it comes to summer.
Yeah. Paranormal Oz, it said the portal sound is the metallic sound. I need to do I hate talking about stuff when I'm not ready to like discuss it fully, because then I'll hear it butchered on somebody else's channel at that point, you know, or they just butcher it. And then after that, people will just be like, it's the stupidest thing I ever heard. I heard so-and-so talking about it. Yeah, I agree with you that the metallic sound that people are hearing is something to do with a directed release of exotic energy. And another thing that I think that is happening is you really don't see people catch this sound on video. I've seen some people try to pass off sounds that were those same sounds were later on found separately, and they had basically been added in after the fact. You know, somebody hoaxed audio. So, and I think that's because it's something that's not necessarily. It's something that's happening in your head as opposed to an audible sound. But yeah, I agree with you that metallic sound, I think, is tied into basically something entering our reality and then exiting our reality again. It's a byproduct of that. All right. Let's see what else we got.
I'm just clicking. Everybody's telling us congratulations on our anniversary.
Oh, we appreciate it. So
GoPack said, what? Jesse got married when she was 10. I'm almost 40, guys.
All right.
All this Bigfoot keeps you young.
Well, Pyromedic says in Ohio suggests they have a protocol to the knocking. He has timed it and says they know which one in their tribe is doing the knocking. Be interested to hear more about that
protocol. That's my Bigfoot talking about.
What is going on? Whoever, y'all keep it clean.
I think they banned them, whatever it was. I got there too late too, so I didn't see it.
Lady Wolf's on it, so she's on it. But
that's why we got to outfit her in the finest of threads.
Finest of threads and keep her caffeinated. Paramedic, when he butted in with his own knocks, he was bluff charged. Fascinating. And I don't know, man. The vocalizations are weird, especially, I mean, all manners, like forms of life that vocalized do it for a reason. They do it to attract a mate, warn off a rival, sometimes just for the sheer joy of being alive, whatever. The whoops were weird because it was coming closer, and it would a couple of like a minute or so would go by, then it would be a whoop, and then a couple minutes later, a little closer, another whoop, and I'm going, what purpose would this? Are you trying to find another of your species out here, and you're just kind of announcing to the night, hey, I'm over here? And maybe that's why it got agitated. I couldn't believe that it would be fooled by me for the slightest. After the first whoop, it should just be like, I don't know what this is, but this is not right. But it seemed like the first few, it just answered with a whoop, and then after that, it just. And again, I'm putting my own interpretation on it. But 3 chatters and then a whoop, and then I did it again, 3 chatters and a whoop. So, and then it just kind of moved on down the little ravine that we were next to, and then just kept going on down. But it very, very weird. The fact that the Uaris have so much vocal evidence, like audio evidence, is something that's very, very big there. And I'm astounded by the Uaris because, again, my opinion was always just that it's not that big of a national forest, especially compared to some of the others that are in the South. But then you take in all of the privately owned woodland
that surrounds it and is even interspersed into it. There is a group that is working on purchasing private land to add to the forest, and it seems like they do that throughout as much as they can. There are portions of the Uwharrie National Forest that are completely detached from the main area. It's like up here off to the side, and it's just by itself. So, and all of this private land are huge swaths of private land. And they've been in the same families for years and years and years, but it's all connected. So it's not like that Bigfoot has Onyx backcountry and he sees what boundaries are. He's kind of passing through here. And we know people who live within the area that is the Uwharrie National Forest, and they're having insane experiences recording the most bizarre, disturbing vocalizations you've ever heard. So it's actually much larger than you expected
we
it to be.
We ought to get Julie on the show one night. Just talk about Julie Wrench. Get Julie on the show. We've never met Julie Wrench face to face. We talk to her pretty often.
I'd love that, yeah.
And it's pretty cool. I really like Julie. She's just one of those people that you just mesh with like instantly, like really well. Like having MK Ultra out with us. He's been playing our Uwharrie guide because he does a lot of ultralight hiking up there. And it was just like we've just known him forever. He just meshed in really well. But Julie's like that, and she's got some of the craziest audio from that area that you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And we might see if she can call in one night. I know she's kind of got her hands full and stuff like that right now.
Yeah, that'd be really, really
Okie,
cool.
thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you,
appreciate it. We greatly appreciate it.
So
and
here's
then,
okay.
Hold a second. Turdog had metal sounds could be portals. When you and Jesse watched that portal open, did you hear the mechanical sound? I still don't know that if that was a portal. I still don't know what that. He's talking about that burning light that we saw. What do you think it is? I know I just kind of like what do you think that light was?
The light? The burning light?
Yeah. Because it opened like a portal, but then it lifted up into the air like a UFO. So I don't know.
And you're saying that you saw, I didn't see these figures that you described, but I'm also 5 feet tall.
I stand by that. I'd go to my grave on that. I saw those figures moving
around.
But
we saw it lift into the air. We saw it manifest. We saw it lift into the air. We saw it grow. I don't know, and I don't even want to throw a guess out there. I often refer to it as a portal. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think it was some kind of. I think it was some sort of gateway.
We didn't hear,
and it seems like to me, because if you say that we're describing these figures around it, that it seems like it opens up. But maybe some. This is so crazy. This is where all right. We're going into Banana Town now, everybody. You've got something out there. We know that there is evidence of ritual activity going on out there. We know that they're doing some really old magic, basically, out there. Perhaps there is a group out there, whether they be, associated with this cult that we found out there or not, that maybe they are performing rituals to open doors to other places.
I don't know,
and that is Banana Town. So just mark that as Banana Town.
But we did not hear a metallic sound.
No.
But there's a thing that I've talked about on the past here, which is called the Frey effect. And they discovered it when fighter planes, and it's even before we had jets, you know what I'm saying? Like prop planes that had individual radar systems, small radar systems on them. When they would turn that on near people, certain people would start hearing metallic crashing sounds in their head. And basically what would happen is that the electromagnetic waves would stimulate part of your brain and cause you to hear noise in your head, and it bypassed the small bones in your ear. And I think sometimes that maybe that's where the mind speak thing comes into, because they were able to experiment with this, and they officially closed the investigation into this, the research into the Frey effect, because they were trying to use it to basically beam thoughts into people's heads, to use it as a form of communication, like a form of like mechanically induced telepathy. But the heat buildup was so severe that I think the limit was 7 or 11 words. I can't remember what it was, that they could beam into somebody's head before the heat built up too bad.
So they started melting some cortexes.
But just because they officially stopped it doesn't mean they didn't continue it in private. But whenever I hear that, I go, well, mind speak, even if that's not related to mind speak, we have found that people have the ability to hear words in their heads from like electromagnetic waves. So that kind of all of a sudden the idea of mind speak ain't so crazy anymore. And then if you take the associated symptoms that people report with zapping, and I've always been going, it ain't infrasound, it's something electromagnetics going on here. And that's what people are suffering the results of. But to this, I think that there are, sounds crazy, when portals open or they're generated, or perhaps even when they close, or perhaps they just pulse while they're open, I don't know. But I think that there is some sort of electromagnetic energy released out that causes a form of the Frey effect in people that are close by. And they hear that metallic crashing sound. It's really not crashing metal. And if you were to put a recorder there, a recorder's not going to hear anything at all, because that sound isn't existing in the environment like a sound. It's not a pressure wave, it's not anything acoustic. It's literally part of your brain is being excited and like stimulated and manipulated by the energy that's being released by these portals. And it's causing this cacophonous sound in your head that people are interpreting as this metallic snapping or crashing sound at that point. So I think, to me, that is, and I almost guarantee you that if somebody who heard that crashing sound had a spectrum analyzer with them, or even like a trifield meter or something like that, you would probably see an associated spike. Maybe it's something that's completely outside our realm of being able to well, if it interacts with your body, we should be able to measure it. Should be. But I think that's what it is. I think that that crashing sound, I think that in a lot of cases, it's your brain is being affected, and your brain is interpreting that effect as a metallic sound. So
I've got some really great stuff over there. If we want to start hammering through.
This is a good one, because I've always heard the same thing too. Old-time telegraph operators could tell who was on the key by listening to cadence. Reasonable that if Squatch communicate with Knox, they can do the same. That's a very good point, actually.
Yeah,
that's a very, very
that
good
was
one.
A really good
that's
one.
That's a good one. That's a very good point.
Gorgonok throws them in there, man.
Yeah. Colonel Chappie, I don't think it's infrasound. I would refer you to our episode on infrasound. We actually have an infrasound detector, and
that we had specially built,
and it's the only time we have gotten hits on it that we thought could possibly be associated with Bigfoot is when we heard 2 very distinct calls one night, and that was on a live stream too. Everybody experienced that in real time, live, beamed across the universe. But I think that if Bigfoot uses infrasound, they use it like every other creature on Earth does, and they use it for communication, to communicate over long distances, especially with a creature like Sasquatch that would have pretty low population density. In order to remain hidden, the ability to communicate over long distances would be invaluable. And I think that's why they use infrasound. The zapping effect is real. It's not caused by infrasound. It's not infrasonic. It's being caused by something else. If you look at infrasound sensitivity symptoms, they don't match up with the zapping effect, what people report. What does match up, though, is exposure to extremely strong electromagnetic fields. So how does that tie in with monkeys in the woods? I got no clue. Imagine a whoop in the middle of the woods. Equally scary would be a response of, there it is. Imagine. So thank you for that, son. All right, let's see what else you got started here. What do we got? World of Whiskey. Happy anniversary, guys. Thought about the cologne label ideas yet?
So about that, I don't know if we're ready to. So we were in discussions about doing a possible special cologne or scent, like that would be like a Hellbent holler.
Of course, Jesse's got and I'm not going to share your idea publicly. Jesse had a really cool.
I do.
Really cool, inventive thing.
Yeah.
I think we need to do it after we get this project.
I think after we're done, we're on a couple of major projects right now, and this is going to be a big undertaking with this. I think we should do it. I think people would find it very unique and interesting and useful cool. As well. So that is we're gonna pick up that project, and that'll be something. I think that definitely our Hellbenders, our members, would definitely be interested in.
We'll reach out to you after this. So yeah, they definitely, and we appreciate that, by the way. Thank you. All right, Mr. Phillips, Mrs. Phillips. So remember that creature or whatever that was swinging through the top of the trees.
Yes. Jumper gate.
Think how many times you guys could have walked by something in the trees at night.
We didn't even notice that. So you are correct.
And that was daytime.
Yeah.
So the thing that always gets me is people are always talking about large creatures. 7 foot tall Dogman, 8, 9 foot tall Bigfoot. They live in the trees. And I'm looking at some of these trees going, because again, a lot of area, even thickly wooded area, has been logged at one time or another. So, a lot of times you're not dealing with old growth trees. They're big, but to get up in them, they wouldn't be able to hold the weight necessary. But small stuff. We had that thing, whatever that was, and I think if Nut Slap's on there, he's on Team Murder Slug with it. We had another night, and I don't remember, and it was in the dark corner when something was jumping from tree to tree above us. Yeah. And we were like going, it wasn't that big. I mean, it was like the last one that I saw was bigger, but it didn't seem that large. And I just thought it was like small mammals up there. And then I end up pushing Jesse and like go to get her, because something's above us and we start noticing leaves fall. We got that on camera. We're standing there and leaves and like little twigs are kind of coming down.
And water droplets, because it had rained earlier in the day.
And we look up to see what's above us and something's going from like tree to tree really fast.
Yeah.
And
that was probably one of the most terrifying.
That was scary, man.
That was scary because it's right above us.
I drew my sidearm that night and had it up, and I was like, I got us out of there where it wasn't so heavily wooded above us. And again, it could have just been like a really exceptionally large raccoon. I don't know. It seems like a raccoon that was that big would not have the ability to jump from tree to tree like whatever we saw. But at the same token, I just saw a shape and movement. I didn't see what it was.
It's interesting. You think about these things that, smaller things that are in the trees that don't make any sense. There was one time we were out in the woods. I don't know if this was ever in a video, if we ever discussed this, but I saw what appeared to be something that looked akin to a horseshoe crab.
You did. I don't think you ever released that. So,
it was something akin to a horseshoe crab climbing straight up a tree high up. And I saw it. And I didn't even know how to square that circle there. But that's what it looked like. And then fast forward, you got the murder slug, the Appalachian murder slug incident that the gentleman was telling us about. I don't know. I think there's a lot more weirder things out there than Bigfoot. I think that there's a whole world out there that is completely unseen or undiscovered at this point.
All right. So let's see what else you got. Stod. Yeah.
Stod.
Yeah. You guys dealing with a lot of people out there. In the URIs,
they gather. It's, we talk. I hate that we do this all the time. But we do this all the time where we kind of relate things to the LBL. Don't want to talk about the LBL all the time, like ad nauseum, but it's the same kind of thing. Is there's certain areas where people will gather. Of course, that's any kind of national park or national forest. There's going to be attractions that people will gather around. For the Uwaris, you have off-roading trails.
Off-roading is big.
It's big. But it's not as big as you think it is.
Not as big as you think it is, as far as sheer number of people. When we were there, one mountain biking trail was swamped with people.
It was insane. But I think they were having a special event there that weekend.
It's still a small parking lot that was
Mhm.
just overwhelmed with cars. But my thing is this, is that the vast majority of the people there are doing vehicular activities. They're mountain biking, or they're doing like, four-wheeling type stuff through there. That would be insanely easy to hide from during the daylight hours. Just stay 100 yards away from the road or the mountain bike trail, and you'd have run of the forest. Now, there's a lot of ultralight hikers and hiking that takes place up there, but guess what? You also have a lot of hikers who have had experiences up there and had sightings up there.
Yeah.
So there's people there, don't get me wrong, but what happens is that when you hear about people dismiss the Uwharrie National Forest as having Bigfoot, they'll go, I'm there all the time and the place is packed. There's no way Bigfoot's in there. And I'm going, you're there on the weekends.
During the day
with other people who are also either mountain biking or, overlanding or whatever you want to call it.
Well, here's another thing
but you're not 100 yards off that road. You don't know what the hell's there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, there's another thing about the Uwharries is the location. It's not centrally located to anything else. You have to be going there. And there's not a lot to do there, to be honest with you. It's not Yellowstone. It's not the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. There's not a lot to do there. There are some great trails, but it's not particularly, there's not crazy vistas, because this is one of the oldest mountain ranges in the world. They're glorified hills at this point because of erosion over millions and millions of years. So you don't have these beautiful giant mountainous vistas. You don't have waterfalls everywhere. You do have recreation on the lakes. You have campgrounds. You have the off-roading areas. You have a mountain biking network of mountain biking trails. But these are all things that people who live within an hour or two are going to come out and do for the day. You don't have a lot of people coming out and making it a destination. It's not a place where people are going and they're staying for a week, and it's not somebody's big vacation to come out to the Uwharries. It's just a place where people who pretty much live within the region, that local area, go to participate in outdoor activities. So you don't have a lot of people that are staying overnight in the Uwharries. The campgrounds are never full. And they don't have a lot of campgrounds out there. There's maybe 2 Airbnbs in the immediate area. So it's not a destination for people to come and stay for long periods of time, to where they would have these experiences out there. They go home when the sun comes down,
Sorry.
That's okay.
Text message from Lady Wolf, actually, texting back and forth while we're doing the show. And she had pointed this out. Joshua, thank you for joining the memberships. And Joshua just came a holler baller. Joshua became a holler baller. Joshua, we will be reaching out to you.
Joshua, email me at hellbentholler@gmail.com, because I got something to send you.
Yeah, and we will have to get how to credit you as an executive producer in the videos.
We will take care of all of the bits and pieces with you if you'll email me at that email right there.
Thank you for letting me know about that, Lady Wolf, because the chat had moved past that. Lady Wolf's on the she's on the ball, man.
She's getting too much.
While these channels trying to poach her right now. Everybody's trying to poach her. We got to keep Lady Wolf happy. Anyway, Joshua, thank you so much for becoming a holler baller. Reach out to us.
We got the rubber paws.
Generally, what we do is that we will to make sure it's you and not somebody trying to steal your stuff. We'll have you comment something on the channel so just to confirm it's you, and then we'll got some stuff coming your way, and then we'll have to get you set up as an executive producer. We appreciate it. And if any of the rest of you guys would like to help support this, we are completely community supported. We have dodged all of the membership offers so far because we don't want to taint what we do.
Advertise,
not membership dollars. We want membership dollars. We got a boat payment to make here. Do you know what I'm saying? Barge payment to make. So we've been dodging sponsorships because we think that just kind of is gonna taint what we do. And I think that at that point it's almost like giving somebody some creative control over what we do.
And then we'll also tell you how to get into the members Discord.
Yeah, we'll let you know how to get into the members Discord, which is awesome. So, and then everybody's wanting a knife check right now. I had to take this off my belt earlier. Jesse got this for me years ago. I had always wanted one, and they were kind of hard to find. I don't know how they are nowadays, but I have a Blackjack Halo Attack. It's a really just a It's based off an old Randall Knives design, but it's just to me, this is like a classic knife, man.
It is a classic knife.
It's just a real classic knife. Got a classic sheath to it.
Classic all around.
But it's just something that you could, I don't know, man. It's difficult. This could be from like World War I, World War II, modern times, anything like that. But it's just a real classic knife. I love it.
The future Space Wars.
Future Space Wars.
Today I'm rocking the chancla. So I've got that. I'm ready. No, actually, put it back on here. I got nothing to tread on. I actually have a knife that I got a couple years ago. It is a collaboration between Ed Calderon and Turner CNC. It's called the La Bruja, and it's a take on Ed Calderon's signature Elvia knife, but it's actually it's opposite of the Elvia. So it's the counterpart to the Ed Calderon Elvia. It's the La Bruja. So, and that was a limited edition finish on that bad boy right there. But I think it's going to be a La Bruja summer. I'll be carrying the La Bruja in my waistband most summer. So, yeah, it's a cool little piece there, kids.
So you have struck some imagination here with that horseshoe crab story. This was years ago. And do you know where this was? This wasn't too far from the burning light that we were talking about earlier, that we just saw this thing. Jesse got a better look at it than I did, but I saw enough of it out of the corner of my eye to be able to validate that she saw something. But she got a better look, and it looked like a horseshoe crab shooting from one tree.
Well, no, it was scurried up the tree. It did not go from tree to tree. It went up the tree.
I caught something afterwards going out like that, though. Maybe down onto a branch or something, but it looked like a friggin' horseshoe crab. A big horseshoe crab in the trees, whatever that is. Maybe it was just,
and the coloring was like bark. It was very similar to the color of the bark. So it was kind of camouflaged in a way. People are asking about what a damn horseshoe crab looks like. I'm gonna pull on it.
Pull it on up here.
Horseshoe crabs have not really evolved. They evolved and then they stopped evolving for millions of years.
Jesse, science class here.
I'm on this Morgan Freeman narrated evolution miniseries that
Michael
has changed my life, and I'm having a great time watching it.
Michael says, newer subscriber here. Just watched your video from 2 years ago where you saw that light portal UFO. Looking back, what do you think it was? And just in case you came in after we discussed that, I don't know. It started so small and then it grew, and then the figures around the base of it. I mean, to be honest with you, and I don't talk about it that often because it sounds like the craziest of all explanations. To me, that was classic Fae activity. Small creatures moving around, a light that's opening up in the woods on a mountaintop in the middle of the night, and then it lifted off. And I still don't know where those figures were. Did the figures leave with it, or were the figures still on the ground with us? That's what made me very trepidatious about the whole thing. And luckily, as we were leaving out, I didn't even mean to, but luckily my camera pans over a little bit and you can see it going into the air. It's risen up into the air now at this point. So I don't know. I go back and forth on, maybe it was just like an energy ball that is kind of a blend between a portal and a UFO. I don't know. It's still one of the weirdest damn things we've ever experienced, man.
And I need to interrupt because I need to everybody needs to calm down because we do have a celebrity in the house today. Heather Moser.
Oh, good.
What's up, girl? You should have wore your good t-shirt today.
I'm telling you, man. Big Brain Moser's in the house. So I don't like doing interviews. Really don't like being interviewed.
Joe just hates to talk.
I just don't really, I don't know. I just don't really enjoy being interviewed very much. I just don't really like it. But the interview I did with Heather Moser that was one of the best times I've ever had. It was amazing. So
I knew you gals were gonna pal around.
You guys were gonna pal around. So this
is a horseshoe crab.
Yeah, let's check that bad boy out.
Yeah, look at that. So that is a horseshoe crab. If you guys want to get a visual on that, but they do not live in the woods. In the ocean, my friends. It's an ocean-faring creature. So that is a horseshoe crab.
Actually had a pretty good little turnout for a Tuesday night here.
Yeah,
with not really kind of unplanned. So thank you guys for spending some time with us this evening. And
Todd Downey said, "Can we see the latest boots on the ground?" Got another video coming out, hopefully by the end of the week.
I think we got to come up with something, because I hate the term boots on the ground. Not anything to you, Todd. It's just that
toes in the mud, remember?
toes in the mud, toes in the poo. So
I'd rather not do that.
All right, let's see.
Chunkless upon the earth's surface.
The witch, everybody's going on about the witch knife. So
Witch knife. Yep, la bruja.
the chancla, everybody's talking about the chancla.
I heard a weird noise out back earlier, and I didn't have a knife or anything on me, so I was ready to deploy the chancla at any point in time.
Ghetto Yeti in here. What's up, Ghetto Yeti? So just kind of going through here. So yeah, if you guys have got anything else you want to like ask, talk about, discuss, anything, throw it up here real quick. Like I said, we came in tonight. We weren't going to do a show this week at all coming back because it took us forever to get back in. And then we were like, let's do one on Tuesday. Because Jesse is going to try to have the next investigation video out on Friday.
Aiming for Friday. Yeah. I'm editing today. I'm going to edit tomorrow. See if I can get it out for Friday. But like I said, it's the continuation of this Blackthorn Lake series. And we're starting to get into the weird stuff now with this Blackthorn story. Blackthorn saga, I guess.
All right, let's see here.
Just wait till
Reverend PC. 2 videos of a 30-foot glowing green snake where I used to live. I called 911, so a sheriff came out and he saw it too. What? Do you have this video right now?
That's a no from me, dog.
Oh, Heather, making me blush there. Let's see here.
Surviving the Strange said Toes in the Mud is an entirely different channel.
It's just that what has happened is that boots on the ground thing got so popular and people were just like beating it into the ground. I don't want to use something like real highbrow, like field-centric investigative approach or something like that. But I guess we're just stuck with boots on the ground at this point. So, yeah, they're talking about the horseshoe crab. This is in the mountains. This isn't anywhere even near a lake. And Jesse got a better look at it than I did, obviously. But
I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, it was very weird. You know what I'm saying? And you never know. It might have just been a trick of the light. It might have been, I don't know. Who knows, man? Your eyes play tricks on you. And we never saw anything like that ever again. We'd never seen anything like that before. It might have just been a trick of the light, but it was just one of those things that you just go, I just saw horseshoe crab. So
Nathan from Quantum Shows says that boots on the ground is a ufology term now. Wouldn't that be eyes on the sky?
Eyes on the sky, man. Yeah.
Put them UFOs on the ground.
Anthony, ever have an interest in black-eyed kids? The black-eyed kids lore, I find it interesting because it's interesting. It's a wild kind of like subject. But as far as I know, there's never really been any, and I could be wrong. Somebody could start posting like link after link after link. I've just never seen anyone have like evidence, an immediate, like, oh my Lord, you're not going to believe what just happened to me. Here's my Ring video camera footage of these black-eyed kids coming up to my front door, or here's my Tesla camera footage of them coming up to my car. It's interesting, but a lot of times it seems like friend of a friend lore. I know somebody had this happen to them. I will tell you this, that if there was a outbreak or a flap of black-eyed kid activity, I'm not sure if I'd go investigate it. What are you adults doing out here with these cameras? Looking for these kids who are selling like,
show me your eyes, boy.
That's a way to get banned from.
Then you're getting arrested for a lot more than Bigfoot.
Yeah, and I'm never going within like 100 yards of a playground or anything like that. So,
Todd Downey says, appreciate all your work, Jesse and Joe. Been watching you for years. Jesse borderline's crazy pushing into those woods. Hard act to follow for sure. Borderline, I think the border has been broken.
She's over that border, man. She's jumped that border. So,
poor MK Ultra we've been out with him a few times now. He's got to see the insanity.
Yeah.
Firsthand, up close and firsthand. So, and he's still
still lives to tell the tale. So,
Pam, what are your thoughts on different types of Bigfoot, like the Gugly? I think that there are obviously what we're experiencing, what's reported in the South is a lot of times very different than what's reported in the Pacific Northwest or up north. The Pacific Northwest, you get these forest giants, man, you know. Down here, they tend to be smaller, more aggressive. Down here, you get a lot of reports of like black ones, where a lot of them are like often like cinnamon and brown. Again, in the Pacific Northwest, you get those colors reported down here, but you get black ones. You get a lot of white ones reported down here as well, which is odd. And so and it seems like certain areas they're more aggressive. As far as like very exaggerated, I don't know, man. I mean, you've got. I think that you're not dealing with. When I say species, I think there's a lot of weird stuff out there. I think there's a lot of weird stuff out there that occasionally breaches our reality, comes here, hangs out for a little while, and then goes back to wherever it was, where it came from, or some other place entirely where it's going to. And I think that the differences in these cause a lot of the division in like the greater Bigfoot community, because Jesse sees something and it just looks like a large ape. And it's eating berries, and it lays a big pile of scat, which she later steps in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see something, and I'm going, no, it seemed more human-like. And it talked to me in my head, and it disappeared in a flash of light. And then she's going, that's not what I saw. You're lying. And then I go, well, what you saw is not what I saw. What I saw wasn't a monkey. You're lying. But at the same time, we both saw something that had a passing physical resemblance to the other. And it's so I think that there's I don't dismiss things out of hand like I used to do. When people give me like weird descriptions, I just don't go, I don't really see how that's possible. Guess what? I still don't see how it's possible, but it is apparently possible. So,
Tony Campagna, my man, says, I think I'd be more afraid of Bigfoot types east and south than we have here in Washington. Yeah, it seems like there's a behavior and a physicality difference between regions.
Gus Hawk, status on the clear blob of the Eyewitness 40 and interviewed.
We were just talking about this the other day, and I know we mentioned it in the show today, but we were just talking about this the other day that we would love to interview that gentleman.
Yeah, and if
40, because I think you guys would go nuts over the story.
40 in Tennessee's in here. He can, and we shared his video at the time, didn't we? Where he interviewed the gentleman. I
think we shared the link. Yeah.
If you go to the 40 in Tennessee channel, and we'll put a comment when we're done here to go find. Actually, I'll find it right now while we're doing this.
You'll find it right now.
I'll find it right now.
Don't you tempt him.
So, but that would be interesting to see what is going on.
Well, you are looking for that. I'm going to hit Todd Downey's question here. Jesse, do you have any paranormal investigations lined up? The kin thing got weird. I know Joe doesn't like it. Respect. Joe hates it. Especially since Ghosts of Appalachia. We did that 2-part, well, it wasn't 2 parts. It was 2 completely different investigations, 2 completely different areas. For our Halloween special, we had that Devil's Night, which was the Devil's Graveyard. That was in the cemetery where I did the Estes session. And then the following night on Halloween, we released the Ghosts of Appalachia video where we were in that old settlement and we actually caught footage of that dark static figure. Joe had a insane nosebleed, and then we got that EVP that was actually audible to my ears too, at the time, of some sort of entity taunting Joe, calling him, hey, city boy, and growling, hey, city boy. That was so freaking crazy. That series of investigations physically and mentally wrecked us.
It was freaking rough.
It wrecked us. It took us a good bit of time to kind of recover from that, because we hit so hard doing those investigations. And it was right after Hurricane Helene. So the normal approach to those locations was completely destroyed. So we had to figure out how to get to these cemeteries and these settlements. And it physically destroyed us. And then the mental effect after that was pretty negative, from my Estes session and the fallout from that I experienced. And then Joe's fallout from Ghosts of Appalachia in the settlement. So we have not done any hardcore.
If every investigation was like that, I wouldn't be doing this.
We wouldn't be doing
We
this.
wouldn't be doing this anymore. And I'm
it's-
not even being, that's not an exaggeration. If that was, and then catching that black static figure on camera.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we were sitting there just going, it was just such a, I can't describe what a weird mixture of just elation and just sheer dread
And
that was.
terror
going.
But
because at that same time, because I saw that thing, but then you're afterwards, I always second guess myself. Did I see it? Did my mind play tricks on me?
I got it on camera.
And then we got it on camera. And I'm just sitting there going, wow, we caught it on camera. And then I'm like, oh my God, that was like real. Why did my nose start bleeding? What's been done to me here? So
I think that Ghosts of Appalachia has some of the most compelling evidence of the existence of the paranormal of anything I've ever seen. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here on this, but it absolutely does. And that was terrifying. The fact that we have evidence right there, you have audio of this thing threatening Joe. And then you see it. Joe saw it with his eyes, and then we captured it on camera. That was terrifying because this is not something physical that, if we encounter something, say a Bigfoot, a Dogman, there's some sort of physicality there. There is, if it bleeds, you can kill it. At least the chance of that if we encounter something like that, that maybe we do have a fighting chance. How are you supposed to battle against something that you cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot directly interact
but yet
with,
can somehow make you start gushing blood.
But it can physically interact with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really shook us up. That shook us up really bad. So we have stepped away from doing any hardcore paranormal investigations like that. We're going to go back to doing something like that eventually, just because we're dumb. But I have interspersed in some of the Blackthorn Lake series coming up. I do have some techniques that are used in paranormal investigations, from using a polterscript. And eventually we are thinking about maybe doing an Estes session, but we are not going to go so hardcore like we did with that series, because that series really, really had some negative effects on us.
So Goshawk, the clear blob of the eyewitness, I'm putting the link right now to 40 in Tennessee. They call it the Morganton mollusk monster. I think murder slug.
Appalachian murder slug.
Thank you, Miranda.
Wait, what do they call it?
Appalachian murder slug is what they call it.
Oh, what was the
Morganton mollusk monster?
We got to rebrand this.
Yeah, we got to rebrand it.
Appalachian murder slug.
Miranda Crew, happy anniversary. Enjoy your time together. P.S. Joe, don't forget chocolate and flowers. Actually, Jessie got 511 clothing for her anniversary. She wanted.
I got an OD Green bomber jacket. I got a rain jacket.
She got a tactical jacket. She got.
That's what I like.
I don't even know what all. I don't even know what all she got. So, but
Joe just blacked out and
I just
gave me the credit card.
Gave me the credit card and said, "Go to it." So, anyway, all right. Let's see what else we got here. We're getting into the end of it. JD, we made a JD Smooth joke. What did we say? Was that on a live or was that in a video that's coming out?
It was about the LPs.
The what?
The little people?
The little people thing.
I guess we can say it here. We don't have them run around the house. I'm the only little person in the house, but
yeah, you get a name drop and something coming up here. So let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else we've got. I'm getting
this is something to kind of put on the back burner to think about later. It's a good idea. Surviving the Strange says, aside of the murder slug, I want to know the top 3 weirdest descriptions you've gotten. Could be its own video. That's something we'll have to kind of mull
witness
on.
description stuff. I will say one thing are those that we have received personally would be the skinny Bigfoot-like creatures that were wearing deer and elk skulls that have been seen twice.
Bizarre.
That has always struck me.
Yeah.
I don't want to include the Bigfoot stunning the horse thing with that sound because we still don't know whether
we don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened. We don't know what's going on with that. We don't know if that's real to a certain extent or what, but that was weird. Trying to think of what the skull one, the deer skull thing is always like bizarre to me.
That definitely stuck.
And we've heard that 2 or 3 times now from different people.
Yeah.
That's always weird to me at this point. So,
Lady Wolf asked, did Jesse camp in a tent yet? Yes, I did. I slept in a tent. Freaking
we
for the
usually
past few days.
When we're out, like
I don't like hammocks.
Yeah.
Hammocks are the things I don't like. Now, M. Carey was in a hammock, so he was the little hanging burrito. Wow, we were safe in a little tent.
We usually
we were safe in our tent.
Hold on, 40 in Tennessee's got something here.
We had a delicious MK Ultra hors d'oeuvre just hanging between 2 trees.
Usually, when we're out and we're staying for a couple of days, we're nowhere near a campground. And we usually have the vehicle tucked away and we stay in the vehicle and sleep. So that way we've got a little bit more protection around us. Sometimes we've got a very small, low profile tent that we will pitch. Sometimes, usually it's just in the vehicle. Stay in the vehicle, sleep in it, a little bit more protected. But doing the Uwari, we're at an actual campground and we just got like a giant tent that we've got. It's like a circus tent. But generally, like I said, we're sleeping in something.
Well, it's full of clowns, so.
Yeah. Dun, gush. But anyway, 40 in Tennessee, back to the murder slug. We had to take down the original video as the guy's workplace became problematic from him doing the interview. The video on our channel now is just audio of the interview.
Interesting.
Crazy. Everybody going on about the city boy thing. And you know what's crazy is that if you ask me right now, sitting here, are you going back to do another investigation there where the city boy audio happened at? I would say no right now, but it would not be as firm a no as it would have been a few months ago. And I have a feeling that we're trending in our head that we'll eventually do another investigation there. What worries me, though,
I've got it if you want me to play it. If anybody wants to see if they want to listen to it,
what worries me is, well, above and beyond the normal worry. But what worries me is that the next investigation, how the hell do you top what happened to us the first time? And if it is going to top it, I don't know if I want to do it.
I don't want to top it.
You know what I'm saying? So Jesse will play the audio that we caught. Now, we caught this audio. We left our recorder.
I don't know if this is like, I'm just pulling this off of like a Google.
Don't you have a short?
This is like a Google Drive that I pulled. I don't know. This. I don't remember last week, Joseph.
That's fine. I thought you had a short on it, but maybe not. Let's see.
I don't think I have a short on it, but I could do that. All right, here we go. We'll pop this up there if you guys want to listen to that. All right. If you have headphones, ladies and gentlemen, please put your headphones on so you can hear this ghost taunt Joe. All right. Silence.
You sure this is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it goes 3 times. So the first was like the original, and then the subsequent 2 are like kind of volume up on it. But it goes, "Here, city boy." Raw.
And somebody even said that they could hear. It sounded like, "Come here, city boy," like a very lower.
Yeah. And
it's got a weird cadence to it. I always just went. It sounded like an extra on like Tombstone or Deadwood or something like that, you know. And
well, that tracks.
That tracks with
the
it.
era.
Play it one more time.
Yeah, of course.
Play
Absolutely.
it one more time.
All right. So, like I said, the first one, it loops 3 times. The first one is going to be your original audio, and the subsequent 2 are punched up with a little volume there. Silence. That's got a distinct voice.
And what gets it
everything.
and for those of you that don't have any context for this, we were in an old settlement area that dates back to the when? There's always been inhabitants in this particular spot.
So it was, okay, so this particular area was inhabited by an unknown people. And then it was taken by the Cherokee after the Cherokee murdered all of them and then took the land. Okay. And then settlers came in, murdered all of the Cherokee and took the land. And then it was a stopover between people traveling from Charleston up to, North Carolina through the summer. So there was a lot of people that passed through there. There was an area through there where a lot of people died during building a railway. There was some railway tunnel collapses that killed a lot of people in that particular area. But it was it's quite a bloody ground for hundreds of years.
So at one point within the past 10 or 15 years, there was an effort made to fix the place up, I guess because of its historic significance. But then they kind of abandoned that halfway through. So you go into these cabins that are falling apart, but like the roof is new, it's like weird. So we were in there and Jesse was doing an Esty session, or you weren't even doing an Esty session in there at that point. Did you do an Esty session in that one?
No,
you did not.
We were talking about going back.
And we never did the Esty session.
We just did the Esty session for Devil's Graveyard.
So we were in there and I turn around because the door to get into this cabin, the floorboards have warped. So it's just stuck partially open. You can't open it or shut it. I mean, and you don't want to I don't want to break stuff, even if it's fallen down. It's historical. I don't want to damage anything. But I made a comment because there's like a big window. There's a hole in the wall over here. There's this door that won't open or shut. And Jesse's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm not comfortable in here. I don't know where to stand at. I feel like exposed, like at every where I stand at. No matter where I stand at, there's just a big gaping opening behind me here and it's uncomfortable. So I keep looking out this door and I've got my headlamp on and I turn around and look out this door and I see this black figure that looks like it's made out of tightly compacted black static. And it's there for a second. My headlight hits it. It goes, it just disappears. And I don't know if it moved off to the side, if it just winked out. It was there 1 second and then it was gone. And Jesse says something and I go, you hear me go, Jesus Christ, and it was just not even like, it was a very defeated sound because I was just like, Jesus Christ. And Jesse's like something. And I'm like, you mean like,
and that's terrifying because you are the person that I know can handle anything. If there's any comers that I know that you can defend from it was like shocked, pure shock and defeat.
And then Jesse's like,
that's terrifying.
And I went, you mean like this black figure I just saw behind us that disappeared? And then a few minutes later, my nose, I realized my nose just started bleeding. Just out of the blue, my nose is bleeding. And we left an audio recorder running in this building and we continue on down and we end up going into this field where the Cherokee town was originally at. And we're moving through there and Jessie spins around and she goes, I just heard something go, rah. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? And I'm going, no, I did not hear anything.
I heard the rah with my own ears.
So then when we checked the audio recorder that was in that cabin and matched up the times.
It matched up perfectly.
It matched up. Somehow she heard that rah at the end of it.
You can hear it in the video.
So
you can hear it in the video where we're in the field. And I hear it with my ears. You hear it in that video. And you hear it on the EVP.
Nutsack's got something interesting. He says, I hear up here, city boy. Were there trees above us or anything like that at that point?
This was in the cabin. Now the cabin wasn't.
No. I'm talking about when we were in that field. Were there trees above us or anything like that?
I don't think so. We're in a field.
No, but there's trees around the edges and stuff like that. I need to go back and look at that video. Up here, city boy is weird. So couple quick things here. Buddy Michael Tovar, happy anniversary. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Michael.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hold on. I'm messing up here. Alan, our buddy Alan, thank you for that City Boy capture, one of the all-time greats. And then the fact that we caught that black static on the camera later on and didn't even realize it until later is just such a, probably hands down, if I had to. And what's crazy is that we're kind of known for Dogman. We're really into the Bigfoot thing. We're not really into paranormal, but if somebody went, show me your craziest investigation, I'd probably put that.
Yeah.
People. That was wild. Julie B, love you guys. Keep doing what you do. Thank you so much, Julie. And then our buddy Marcus Aurelius made it. The benefit of doing a show on a Tuesday. Joe, you still owe Jesse a honeymoon. Here's a token for the mini bar. Thank you, buddy. After we got married, we actually didn't go on a honeymoon. We just went back to investigating. You know what I'm saying? So
I've got the stills from that. If you want me to show those too, if
you got the stills from the black static figure, we'll wrap up with that, and then we'll go. And I know some people have seen that. That's in the chat right now, but others haven't. So
yeah. So this is the static figure. I have stills. So this is one frame at a time that I pulled off of the video. So I have one frame at a time. There's 10 frames where this black static figure actually comes between me and the camera and crosses in front of me. So I'm gonna throw those up there for you guys to see. Take a little look-see here, and then we're gonna just go through those. Pull Marcus Aurelius. Oh, you're not covering it. Okay,
I got it here. Okay.
You're good.
Well, no, I'll get it down.
All right, so you can see my cursor here. This is where it starts, and it crosses in front of me here. There is one frame, I don't remember which one, where it's super dark, and you can really see it right here.
And it's not flies. Somebody was like, oh, that's just a cloud of flies.
A cloud of flies.
Cloud of flies
All
just going over you.
We're going to go through this here. You see it into the frame there, directly in front of me. There's super dark there, and then out of the frame. And then by 10, it's completely gone. So we're just going to back that up. We'll go reverse, and I'll do it a little faster so you can actually see the motion a little better. You see that figure there? We'll go a little faster so you can kind of get it. You guys can see that. We'll go back. But you can see that figure cross right in front of me. There is one part where it has a bit of a, you can really see in this one here, you can see that it's like the staticky texture right here.
So it's not a shadow. It's not.
No.
It's not like something passed in front of our light. It's like black static. It's, I don't know, man. Just
backing up.
Black static. All these black little dots moving as a group.
But look how crazy that looks when you go just at that speed right there. You can see it just boom, cross right in front. That's so crazy. That is one of our craziest things that we've ever gotten. Yeah. And then that EVP on top of it.
All right.
Creepy, creepy. Shadow person. Marcus Aurelius says a shadow person. Yes.
And then EDP has got something here. I'll get to get on in a second. Man, if you want to talk about most return on investment on a membership, y'all take the cake from me. You may be my only subscription, but there have been so many awesome captures in the time I've been here. We're trying to chip away at the mystery, one little investigation at a time there. It's what we were trying to do. And even if we don't get any answers, man, we're coming up with some awesome questions. Sam Burton has got a good point here. I feel like your outings have been more weird since those Halloween investigations. Yes. And they have gotten, even when we get fooled into thinking that they are not going to be weird, they've gotten weird. Yeah. And some of them have gotten so weird that we have stopped investigating that area. Like Laurel Creek. Yeah. Where we've just gone, I said the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
And I don't want to be gun shy. You know, I don't want to be like too scared of doing this. I don't want to do that. But that whole series of investigations shook us up so bad. Yeah. So, and it seems like Icarus flew too close to the sun. So we'll see. Which is what's crazy is like I'm actually going into this contact experiment,
which is going to even get weirder and weirder. Yeah. So, all right, guys, we're wrapping up in a minute. I'm going to catch up with the chat, make sure we got everything. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, on our not normal evening.
Yeah, I had a blast, honestly.
Yeah. So we will see what else we have got here. Jesse is going to try to do a release on Friday. And if we do that, we will have a members exclusive after the show discussion. and we'll probably have to do that from the vehicle, and probably do that from the vehicle, and do a just kind of like a little discussion about what we release, and it is. But we'll see how the next few days proceed on this. So, all right, let's see here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
we're pretty much caught up here at this point,
wrap
guys. Thanks for being here tonight. Again, we kind of came in, just figured we wing it. Let's just wing it. So
just do it live.
Winging it went pretty good. So we appreciate y'all, folks. We will keep you updated as far as the Friday release. That should go according to plan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jesus,
knock on wood. But we'll do that. And then
thank you, Sam. Sam says, great show. Happy anniversary. Thank you.
So,
we're not even going out tomorrow. I am going to make Joe a nice dinner, and we're going to maybe watch a spooky film.
Watch a movie.
That'll be our 12-year anniversary. So, but thank you guys for joining us. You guys are the absolute best. Special thanks to our members for supporting this project. Thank you guys for just being here tonight. Thank you for coming for this Taco Tuesday that we have. Turned out Tuesday.
And thank you again for coming to Holler Baller. We appreciate it
Joshua.
greatly. Don't forget to reach out to us, hellbentholler@gmail.com, so we can get you set up with all your cool stuff. And thank you everybody that contributed tonight. We appreciate it. You guys keep us going. So but anyway, we greatly appreciate it, everybody. And we are going to
wrap
it
up. And we will see you guys later. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And avoid the black static figure.